Greetings, car fanatics. As you all know, I recently purchased this 2008 Porsche Cayenne Turbo. So today I'm going to talk about why I own both the Cayenne Turbo and my 997 Carrera S. So I had a 2008 Subaru Forester, which was my daily driver. It was great for going on trips to the mountains to go snowboarding. It was also a car I could just drive around and not really care about. And that was having issues, so I had to find something to replace it with. So let's talk about which one is more fun to drive. The 997 is a pure sports car. I really love taking it on the twisties. Accelerating is just a rush because you get that linear buildup of power, so it feels really good. It's also really good to shift my own gears. The Cayenne Turbo is a whole lot of fun. It has really great pickup on the highway. It can handle curves pretty well for a car of this size. The Cayenne, while it is more sporty for an SUV, is still very much a 5,200-pound SUV that doesn't handle that great compared to a true sports car. So next, I'm going to talk about reliability of the two vehicles. Now, just because they're both Porsches doesn't mean the reliability is the same. I have to say the Porsche Cayenne Turbo is a very complex vehicle when compared to the 911s. The 911 is a tried and true platform that Porsche has been developing for over 50 years. They make very incremental changes throughout the years, so there's a lot of engineering that goes into it to make the car very reliable. So the 997 has definitely been extremely rock solid. I haven't had a single issue aside from just performing regular maintenance. Now the Cayenne, this particular generation, the 957, which is the kind of facelift version of the 955, is not an unreliable car, but compared to the 911, it definitely has its issues. For example, this vehicle had the drive shaft replaced, the water pump replaced, the ignition coils failed. So this vehicle is much more particular when it comes to maintenance. You definitely have to keep doing all the maintenance for it to run well. Additionally, there are like known issues for the Cayennes that pretty much, if one Cayenne has it, most Cayennes will run into the same issues. Things such as the engine torque damper cracking. You may have seen that in my previous video. The ignition coils don't go bad. So this car is not unreliable, but it does have its known issues that need to be addressed if you want to keep the car running properly. Now on to the next topic, which one I like to drive more. So I definitely like to drive the Porsche 911 more than the Cayenne Turbo. However, the Cayenne Turbo is just that much more practical, so I can take my wife around, some friends, and we don't run into any issues. I also don't worry about the car nearly as much, so I've definitely been driving the Cayenne Turbo more. Now, the one thing about the Cayenne Turbo that's pretty painful is when I drive it, it drinks gas. So I've been averaging around 13 to 15 miles per gallon in mixed driving. I recently went to Tahoe with this, and I had a ski rack and two snowboards on top, and my gas mileage was terrible. It was about 13 and a half miles per gallon. I think if I would have had the ski rack off, could have gotten about 18 miles per gallon. So overall, I definitely prefer to drive the 911 when I can, but the Cayenne Turbo is that much more practical. It's also really fun to drive. So for me, this has been my go-to vehicle for the past month. Finally, I just wanted to discuss the pros and cons if you're thinking about purchasing one of these two vehicles. So they're very different vehicles. If you're in the market for a new car, you probably shouldn't be cross-shopping a Cayenne versus a 911. If you need space and you need to haul your family around, you also need a vehicle that's going to be good in all weather. It's a no-brainer. Definitely recommend the Cayenne. If you're mainly going to be driving yourself around, maybe one other passenger, the 911 is actually really great for that. It's super practical, and it will give you that pure driving experience we all long for. Now, the one thing I just want to add on at the end, it's difficult to maintain two cars. When I had the Subaru Forester, I didn't really wash the car or care about it, and I just did some basic maintenance to it, and that allowed me to spend my time focusing on the 911. Now that I have both the Cayenne Turbo and a 911, I have to think about washing both cars regularly, detailing both cars regularly, always performing the maintenance on both cars. So it's double the work and it's a bit much for me to maintain. In terms of what I plan to do with these two vehicles in the future, I may be getting rid of the 911. It's going to be a really sad day if that has to happen, but unfortunately, it is a bit difficult to manage and constantly worry about owning two really nice cars. But hopefully, I can keep both vehicles. Thanks for watching Car Fanatics. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Leave any questions or comments below.